Welcome to Colorful Voices of Sisterhood. We are so glad to be back with you and joining us today. Once again, we have a lot to talk about, but we only have an hour to do it. Agnes isn't feeling well, so we're sending hugs and kisses out to you, Agnes. We know you're watching us. We love you and hope you feel better soon. I guess our hot topic for today is there's a lot of stuff out on social media, as you guys know, and we kind of got to pick and choose, what is going on in their lives. But there was an incident that happened in Ethiopia.
Yes.
And we wanted to discuss it because this is where Fatia is from. But there was a young girl, age 7, who was raped and then murdered in I guess a small village. Would it be considered a small village?
It's in Addis Ababa, actually. Yes, a small village.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes, people we trust, what I would really like for people to know is the people you trust, the one that hurt you, he's supposed to be the owner of where they rent the house. And he has his own daughter. And now they want justice. He was sent to jail, but they released him. Then he threatened the mother to kill, and we are fighting for justice, not only for her. There are so many children are going through this unknowing, and they are not only the one died, the one still suffer from the trauma and from the experience and running away. So much going on, do she deserve to be raped in this age? Do she deserve to be killed?
Yeah, definitely nobody deserves to be raped or have their innocence taken away. But when I think of a child, a 7-year-old
that really can't even defend themselves.
Can't defend themselves at all.
Especially against a grown man or a grown person, period.
Yeah.
Can't defend themselves.
He has his own daughter.
How old is his daughter? Do you know?
I believe they say 3. She's young.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is, this we know now. I'm glad my people are coming forward. They fight for justice.
Right.
It was time, even when they know it's happening, they don't want to speak about, or they will tell you, you should not talk about something like this, or something that can be handled in the community. And you go jail for what? Then you pay for, you can be released. Now,
I definitely know that punishment is not severe enough for somebody who rapes or, murder. Obviously, they'll get some time. But even on rape victims, I don't believe they get the justice that they deserve.
But depending on also, sometimes it depends on the money. If you got money, you can almost pay your way out of a lot of stuff.
I mean, you exchanging justice with money.
Yeah. So is that case? Is it a wealthy family that's going on? Or,
so I don't know exactly this man, but I know he rent the house for the parents.
So he owns the house that they lived in.
Yes, they live in. So many cases happen this. Even people, what I would really like for my people to know is not, we leave children in the community because that's how we grow up. Everybody watch everybody. There is no babysitter. You're going to say, hey, I'm going to babysit you. It's community. The people hurt you. It's not people outsider. Yeah. It's the people you trust in the family. And I have received last year, I think I called you, and 3-month-old baby, she was raped by her father. Okay, who are you watching from? Who's the really, you don't know who. 3-month-old baby. She was raped by her father. He's only sent 25 years in jail. Just think about, you go in jail, you're going to eat, you're going to drink, you're going to sleep, and then you're going to come out to the 25 years, maybe less than that. If you have money, you can walk away free. We see that in the U.S.
Did this baby survive?
She survived. So they contact me because people that know about my story, I share, and 3 years ago. And she contacted me. She was journalist. She was crying, no money. They put her in the hospital. She was in a coma.
Wow.
And they need help. And I did send but the money, even though the baby, she survived, it's still that trauma. Imagine what she's going to go through. What that he did to her for the rest of her life. This is beyond an injury. Like when I'm healed, right? I'm healing. Let me
You're
say,
healing.
I'm healing. I have not completely healed.
And, for our new listeners, Fatia, I'll mention it so that way you don't have to say, but Fatia was a victim also at the age of 5 years old. She definitely went through trauma, still recovering from it. And I won't say how old she is now, but she's been, to me, I think Fatia is a strong individual who was able to overcome it, where some people aren't as strong. So they really need community support. They need family support, and obviously resources around there.
You have a voice. This is what I would like to bring. I would like to go back and help, because one, they need resources, education. And the mindset has to change. The mindset of being told you cannot speak about that. That needs to change. In our system, I'm not saying government should change. The system needs to change, because when system is broken, they are corruption. That's the reason they walk away free. Like him, he got released. Now they won justice. So the not government. I'm not asking government to change. I'm asking the system to change. When someone do like this, hey, they should stay there for the rest of their life until they go. Because if they come out, they will hurt other children. This cycle will repeat. Also, we need the strong advocates, advocacy. We need resources. And another thing in my culture, we in my country, we don't have is mental health. Like, we don't talk about mental therapy. And some people, they don't like to go therapy. And I wish I can say will not happen. At least we can prevent. Right? When it happens, so we know what to deal with. That we know we have resources to help those victims.
Because there's so many of them that live in silence.
Right.
Even we're talking about Ethiopia, but even here in the United States or across the world, there's so many children that are victimized, but they're living in silence because of threat to their parents, threat to their lives. There's so many reasons why a child's not saying anything.
I'm glad you say that. It's the same for me, because it was extended family. He was married. I was worried about his marriage. If I say something, his marriage now, they're going to say, I break the marriage, right? So I didn't get what I'm supposed to get as a child. I was supposed to be with my parents. I was supposed to be educated. I was supposed to be God and lead. I left the situation because I wanna that it did not
right.
And then we really sometimes I carried that people that close to me was hurt by this man. Total 8 people that I know so far. I don't know who he did to before me, and after those 8 children that I know, some of them I raised them, and it took me 30 years plus.
Before you were able to say something.
And if we start saying something when something happened, at least we can prevent the next person to get hurt.
Yes.
And I'm sending prayers to
the mother. The laws need to be tougher against crimes like that.
Absolutely. Everywhere. That is everywhere. In U.S., you see, at least here, they report, Raquel and Diana. Here, we know, even though we don't know every family what is happening in the community, at least those report, we have the numbers, how many people are suffering from this, how many people experiencing child abuse, molestation, and rape, and human trafficking. Back home, we don't have that. We don't. Now, more they speaking, which is good. I'm so happy that now they seeing this is getting really issues. It's affecting, taking life. Now you're taking the innocent child, and her purity, then you're taking the life. That's never be okay.
And then I know in a lot of cultures, when a young woman, a young girl is raped, a lot of times they victimize
the girl,
her for losing her virginity because she's not pure to get married. So I know that happens in a lot of cultures, and I really of all things, I really want that mindset to change because once again, the child was already victimized, and then to report it to their family. And then once again, the chances of them getting thrown out of the family because of it too. I I just think maybe that's why a lot of them just be quiet about it.
I'm glad you said that. In my culture, that when woman get raped by men, if she identified the man and she tells the family, guess what they do? They force him to marry to this man. This is the man that caused her already trauma. Now she have to deal with it. Now, like, you're not a virgin. What we're going to do with you?
Yeah.
He has to marry you. Imagine what this woman go through. And yeah, it's time to change mindset. I would really like my coach, my people, and to change our mindset, the way we things. It has to. I know some things that we keep close to value to our heart. Not everything is value. Those is hurting people. It's hurting us. It's hurting our children. If we don't break the cycle, it will continue. And the system, it needs to change.
Yes. The system itself.
So if you're an advocate out there, definitely we need more of them. And drop in the lines, on the chat and comment on what resources are out there. If you have any numbers people could call, and then what actions can a child take? Luckily, I think our school systems are good. If a child was to report something, I think they would know exactly what to do. But I think that's just being that trusted adult for a child to go to.
That is what I would like Mike to accomplish and back home, is to have that school system to be part of where they have education to educate those children, because and it starts with family, of course. The parents need to be educated how to protect the children, what to tell. Hey, it's not easy to talk about sex. It's not, right? Especially when you get raped and you experience something like that. It's not something easy to talk about, but it has to be. We have to talk about it so we can heal. We can prevent. We listen to music that contains
But really put the perpetrator behind bars so he doesn't victimize someone else.
Exactly. Too. And I was actually sharing another day, and I know, again, I've been chosen for this calling. It's not easy, but I have to. Because I don't want to take, they think only men molest and no, woman molest. I say that. In my country, Raquel, we don't say something like this. The reason I'm letting them know so they can wear up. You cannot only watch a man is going to abuse your child. You have to let your child know what woman they can do too. So, yeah, it's very important, people, to know and that a woman molested, just who can you trust? That's the hard part. Yeah. Who can you trust?
And a lot of times it is somebody that the family knows.
No, most of the time, Raquel, most of the time is where this girl she will go tell me. Where I would have went for me to be molested age 5.
Yeah.
Tell me. 93% is the people that you know by family, period, and community.
Yeah.
And we have to keep fighting, speak up. When you see something's wrong, please speak up. And before it happens, before people teach your child how to have sex, and you need to teach how to not be touched and what is appropriate anybody to touch. And because education, it can prevent from happening. And the child have to feel comfortable to talk to their parents if something happened. Because you have to open that door and break the wall. Say son and daughter. Boys get molested too by both men and woman. We cannot say only girl, both. Sit down with your child and tell them no one should touch you anywhere and whatever part. We speak about, we sing about it, we dance about it. Why can we educate our children how to not be touched?
Exactly.
They need a safe haven.
Yeah.
Something.
Yes.
But you're right. I like that point you made, Fatia, is that the parents really need to open that door for conversation.
They have to.
They got to be able to talk to their children about sex, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, and have that open line. Because if parents are uncomfortable talking to it with your children are going to be uncomfortable talking to you about it if something happens. Right. And you got to have that line of communications for your child.
Yeah.
I have to do the episode on parenting.
Exactly.
Yes.
But that is so true.
And
The open communication.
Community one. Every we already know this. You know, oh, you have to get married to have sex, right? Then children come, right? You talk about this. Oh, your daughter, she's not virgin. Now you forcing somebody to marry your daughter that rape. You talk about sex between. Why can you sit down before it happens and say, hey, son, parents molest their own children? It's sad. But we have to face the fact. We have to face the way situation it is. We cannot sugarcoat. This thing, it should not be sugarcoat. Anything that's hurting people. Look, mental health. Why those children be like, this is, it hurt me because when children, they don't behave and they run, I was one of them. My mom, she couldn't understand why I keep running. Like, what is wrong with this kid? She thought I was because of hunger, because I dropped out of school. She couldn't send me to school. It was
Those
not that.
all effects of what happened to you.
Exactly. So mentally now, you just want to run because the one used you is right there.
Right.
It's right there. You see that person. It doesn't not.
But did you feel like you couldn't talk to your mom, your parents?
No, it's not. I couldn't talk. So, you know, what I learned is this now we see is yellow and white, right? If you get raised to be told this is black, what you're going to believe this is black, but you can see this is not black.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the mindset that you grow up, not what they say to you, but what you listen, what you're watching, what you observing as a child. So as a child, I saw those things to woman, she should be virgin. Woman, if something happened, younger that rape and forced by community to marry this.
Or thrown out from the family.
Yes. And then I'm like, okay, I cannot this. If I do, they're going to say, I am the baddest one. This man is married. He has children, not a child and wife. You just a terrible child.
Yeah. So definitely as a community, we need to do better in protecting our children, advocate, definitely laws, you know, if there's an event that happens in your community, bring awareness to it.
Yes.
You know,
I
this
think you're very
happens.
strong to do this now. Even though it's 30 years, you say whatever to get it. It's like, thank you now for becoming the voice for the ones that don't have the voice yet. Because they will get the voice through you as being a leader now for your country and for everywhere. To be able to say, we need to speak up and we need to figure out, because it takes one person to change one thing.
That's right.
It hurts me because now they look at me like, I wish I have the resource to like say, okay, this right now, right? I know it's going to take time. And then the more I heard like, oh, this child got killed again. And then to the child, it get tested HIV.
Yeah.
Look what this child do. And, it's going to take time. I'm like I say, listen, I'm just starting nonprofit. It's going to take me time to connect with the private nonprofit
is started. Wow.
It's going to take time.
It takes time.
Now, just aware of, now we know. Now we know it's problem. We know, but we don't want to say nothing about it.
Yeah.
Now we know, right?
Now
we
you're able to talk about it.
So it has to be consistent. It's not
Right.
one day we go on the social media crisis, 911. This is something that it needs to be addressed every day and educate, come together in community, in the school, in government. So
Yeah. Oh my.
Well, we're behind you, whatever we can do to try to help.
Yes. And we'll keep bringing it to the forefront.
Yes.
And I know Fatia got some candles here. We definitely want to light those in honor of the young, baby. She was just a baby, 7 years old.
What happened?
Lost her life to a perpetrator.
I mean, brutally.
Brutally.
Because she was cut, right?
She was cut, basically like suffocated then, because he put sand in her mouth so she wouldn't make noise. It's a sad story for this child. But we'll go ahead and let the candles burn during our segment here. So when you guys look at it, think of this beautiful child who left way too soon.
Yes.
Way too soon. Our topic for today is women leaders. Women leaders, and it's because leaders like Fatia that this child is not going to be forgotten. It's not going to be forgotten. And I think women are making a difference in the world. We truly are. I think doors are opening up for us now. I'm going to mention it again. We had a woman running for president of the United States that is of color. But to me, it's just, I love it because as a child, we're all at that age. As a child, we didn't see a lot of that. You know, we didn't see that there would be an opportunity for little Raquel to be president of the United States.
President of the United Way.
Yeah, but now I'm president of United Way. I guess I'm president of a different aspect. But, you know, now there's so much opportunities for young ladies to see people or women in leadership roles, positions, even with Fortune 500 companies, you know, CEO of companies now. So, I mean, it's out there. I think the ceiling's open and it's limitless for the young ladies coming up now.
And then we have to help celebrate each other. But I was doing some research back and I was looking at Harriet Tubman, and they recently in South Carolina did a statue for her after 10 years. And Harriet Tubman was a leader in her people. She took 19 trips back to help free people.
Yeah.
And she would have got more if the mindset was, I could be free. Because she had a statement where she said pretty much she didn't leave anybody if they wanted to go. So leaders females didn't just start. They've been going on forever.
And they're just now getting recognized for what they can do.
Yes.
Even if you go back in history, historically, Queen Sheba, all the queens, they were a woman. And that's a good point.
So where you at? That one woman, it says she freed 700 enslaved people. Where you're at now, look at how many more people that we can touch doing stuff. There was just so many more women that I was looking at. Even back in the biblical day, there was a woman that Jael, I think that was her name. There was a battle that was going on, and this woman actually killed the king, put a peg right through his head in the Bible days. So where I'm saying we're women, we have strength. We have strength beyond the strength that we know that we have. We just really have to get out our own way. And do it. Look how many.
But I think there was so many generations that women were put in boxes. You know, this is what you can do. That, you know, we were just talking about that in our last episode when we were talking about the name change on why it was the way it was. But now I think women were marrying older now. If they're getting married, they're having children later. Careers are priorities. Education is a priority. So times have really changed to the fact that women are no longer in boxes. You know, the doors are opening for them. And I'm glad you mentioned the statistics, because there's one that says, you know, despite women, you know, coming into, you know, Fortune 500 companies, still only 10% of those are led by women.
Wow.
You know, so that's staggering. I was surprised by that number because I thought there would be a lot more.
I did too. I thought it would be okay. But sometimes we, as women, get in each other way.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We do.
We don't want to celebrate where one have came from. And we should be pushing. We'll find what they didn't do.
Oh, yeah.
Versus what they can do.
Yeah. And I think that's our mindset that women, we have to change that. You know, it shouldn't be a cat fight every time, you know, women come together. You know, let's put, you know, hey, you know, we got one of our sisters running for president. We all should be rallying behind her to have a first female president.
And she's qualified. I want to make sure. I have some people, I said, look, she's educated. She's qualified. She happened to be a woman of color.
Yep. But, you know, I mean, when you look at her qualifications, she was a prosecuting attorney. She was the state attorney general. She was a senator. She was vice president. The logical next step is president. But you're right. She is qualified. And I think a lot of people think that women get into positions for other reasons, but that's not the case. Women, we are smart. We are beautiful. We are intelligent. We're strong. We may be emotional, but emotional is good. I mean, so we got all these qualities and traits that I mean, we could rule the
do.
world. Ain't that what Beyonce said?
We got the world.
Mhm.
I want to go back where you say women who don't support each other. And not all women, but some, why do you think that we don't really support each other? Like to push one another. Like now, I saw some social media, she's running for the president. Is a lot of people, most women I saw, I read through, most of them, some of them, I don't want to say most of them, some of them were women that they did not support her.
Well, maybe they're still living in a box. I know with me as a woman, I raised my daughters to be independent and strong, maybe too much because they ain't married yet. But they're independent, they're strong women. And guess what? My granddaughter is going to be an independent, strong woman. And I want her to see, not me doing my thing, but I want her to see other women at the top. I want her to see women running the country. I want her to see women in charge of the hospitals. I want her to see women in charge of Fortune 500 companies, because I don't want her to be limited on what she can and can't do. Like, I felt like I was limited growing up because I've never seen women like that. And for those of you who don't know, I joined the Marine Corps when I was 18 years old.
Wow.
At the time, there was very few spots for women. At the time, I spent 26 and a half years in there. When I left, all jobs were open to women.
That's awesome.
And that was a huge thing. 26 years.
26.
When you talk about time and, relative to everything, but it's not open to everybody. And even now, people say, whether they're veterans or currently serving or haven't served, whatever the case is, always say, well, they had to lower the standards for no, they didn't. Those who can make the standards, make it. Whether, there's males that can make the standards, there's females who can't make the standards. But guess what? There are males that can make the standards. There are females that can make the standard. So I really don't believe any standards are changed for women so that they can make it. There are women that can make those standards.
That's it.
And it just frustrates me when people say that, standards have to be lowered for women. No, they didn't.
But that's how the culture too.
Yes.
Like, oh, you're supposed to be wife, you're supposed to be mother, you're supposed to be in the house, wait for your husband to come home, to cook, to take the school. So that cycle too.
But we changed that narrative.
We
Because
changed
now
it.
we can go back and show Shirley Chisholm was the first Black woman to pursue a presidential bid. We have to go in history and show this is what happened. Barbara Jordan, the first Black woman elected to Congress from Texas. So we go in and we teach not just our daughters, our sons, our sons. We educate that you can do this. I was looking at the woman suffrage, with the legal right for women to vote. So August the 26th is now recognized as the Equality Day.
Yep.
For women. I wanted to wear my white suit, but I couldn't get in it. Just for that, the white suits that went on, I was like, okay, I got to do something about this. But the women in leadership just have not been taught. We have to re-educate people and ourselves on what needs to be educated. Because and not getting into Kamala running for president versus Trump run for president, would educate on the reason why people are running, and is she more qualified than him for the position, right? Because, and don't get into the war of this is a man's world. No, this is really God's world.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't get into get into who can lead, because look, there have been leaderships for a long time. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna hush with 2023, the top 10 most powerful women. Ursula von Leyen was the president of the European Commission.
Okay, yeah.
Christine Lagarde, president of European Central Bank. Kamala Harris, vice president of the United States. Giovanni Milani, prime minister of Italy. Taylor Swift, musician.
Yep.
Come on now.
What about Beyonce?
Karen Lynch, CEO of CVS of Health. And then there was a powerful Black woman, I can't think of her name, that actually came out with the COVID vaccine.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
So we're doing a lot of work, but it's behind the scene.
That's
where we have to be the one to bring our names out.
Yeah.
Every female in your family has made a difference.
Yeah.
Who used
Every
to
one of
type?
them.
Who used to type back then? Even here,
Mm-hmm.
it's a woman that used to type for news.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's actually woman make it happen for men. No, really. Without woman, regardless if she's wife or secretary, most of the time is woman is behind the door make it happen.
Yeah,
Yes.
making it happen. Mm-hmm.
But we can't sit behind somebody and just go on based on what they say. Do a little research.
Yes.
Find out what's going on with it.
So we know women got the first right to vote. It was what, 1920?
1920.
It's been a little over 100
Yep.
years. Okay, so there's a poll taken in 1946. So we're looking at the stereotypical change for women versus men in the workplace. So in 1946, only 35% of those surveyed thought men and women were equally intelligent. And those who believed there was a difference, more thought men were more competent. Okay, so in contrast, in 2018, the poll was given. 86% believed men and women were equally intelligent. 9% believed women were more intelligent, and only 5% believed men were more intelligent. You see?
Yeah.
So times are changing. Times are changing, but I think it really goes to the time. And like I said, I think women were just in boxes, but we had those few that stood out and did what they needed to do. Harriet Tubman was one. Gosh, I could think.
But Raquel, they came together and made a difference.
That's right.
That's what we have to do.
We
really
have to
come together and make a difference.
You have to when you see sister that, like, this is how I see sometimes, it should not be between a sister competition. If you see, I see Raquel has her strength a different way than you. If I see something that as a sister, I have to learn something from her without not thinking it's competition. A lot of time is as a woman, because we are so emotional and we attach it to something and detach it stuff. It's like more threat. They see like more threat when they see a smart woman. It should never be like that.
No.
If you see a smart woman, learn from her. Don't that intimidate you. Feel like be confident enough to say, okay, she went before me. Let me learn from her. Let's see what we can do together.
Right.
I can bring something to the table from different than you. You know what I'm saying? You have your own gifted. I have my own gifted. What can we do to make a difference? That's what we're doing in show. Everybody has their own different way they do things.
Well, everybody has their strengths and everybody has their weaknesses.
Yes.
And that's what I mean. When you're talking about working together, you could really bring out all those strengths.
Yes.
And really make a difference.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. Support one another.
But we have to do it like what you share today. We come along and say, okay, what can we do to help? You know, I was reading with Rosa Parks, Reese Taylor. I don't know if anybody ever looked that up.
Yeah.
But Reese Taylor, she was only 24 years old. A lot of these people that made a difference was young. So she was walking home from church when 6 white men kidnapped and gang raped her at gunpoint. Right? So the NAACP sent Rosa Parks to actually investigate. And this is how the story started, with Rosa Parks taking the seat on the bus.
Yes.
So somebody paved the way, like you're fighting for this child. So it's the same thing that Reese Taylor did. But that's why my heart goes out, because this ain't just started with this syphilis killing for no reason.
It's been happening.
Right.
You know, and it's sad. But what really hurts when, like, you walk that hurt for a year, and now you see the next generation, they walk in the same path you came through. You know, when it's successful, people do good. That's is good. But when the pain that you run away from,
Right,
is somebody else that has to go through, it breaks my heart. Like now, we have to change.
That's right.
We
And
have
I
to
think
change.
we're changing with that poll comparison we had on the difference it was, you know, less than 100 years ago.
Mhm.
So it's about 80 years ago in comparisons on how it changed. But, you know, when you're looking about advancing women in leadership, because we got those trailblazers, you know, there's trailblazers in every field. But one thing I think is important is to identify those leaders early. So you mentioned young, how he's 24 years old. I think you could identify those children early and mentor them and guide them when you talk about the different, whether it's Girl Scouts of America or some type of mentorship program for young ladies, because it really stops. I remember sports, for example. You know, it's okay to play football as a woman when you're 6, 7, maybe 10, 12, you know, because you're similar to the boy, you know, and then at that time, obviously, men become stronger and stuff, but it still doesn't mean that the girl can't play. You know, girls now can wrestle, where when I was growing up, I don't ever remember wrestling. I would love to have gotten in there, you know, threw down, but I mean, I think times are changing, but we really need to identify those young women. I'm talking preteens, those teens, and really start developing them and providing them the resources, because they're not going to get it anywhere else.
It's how you push your children. Like, it's what you tell them. It's like a psychological thing. So you implement something good. Like my daughter, she's early college. She will graduate age 17, going 18 with her associate degree. And I tell her that you are a leader.
Yes.
And she was selected to be president of her class. And I told her that you can do it. I said, every time she tells me those opportunities are, I said, you need to go sign
You need to sign up. That's right.
Sign up, because this is how you learn. This is how you develop your character. You develop it now, because your character is very important.
Yes.
Reputation is for people. Character is for you. Something that you're going to take wherever you go. So I always push her to do well with her class, and how she presents herself. And 16, I'm so proud of her. You have
and that's awesome to because we have to. But then what happens on the end when you push them to be the leaders, and then they get to the point where they're so stressed?
Well, I think that's where that mentorship needs to come in. At. You know, even as women, you know, we're all successful, we're professional. We even need our downtime.
Oh, yes.
You know, and I think as women, we got to be able to identify that. Like, I got to know, man, Fatia's not her usual self. You know, hey, Fatia, let's go out to lunch. Let's sit down. Let's talk. What's going on? I think there needs to be that level of mentorship and looking out for one another on that. Young people, they got a lot of stuff going on. You know, especially the teenagers, the ones we want to mentor young, even in the 20s, they're still trying to figure stuff out. But I think as women who have already been through that, walk the path, you know, the trailblazers, they need to step up and be mentors.
Yeah, and
for the younger people.
For young people, they have, like my daughter now, she's open to me because I am very open to her. She can tell me anything. Even though sometimes like, okay, you can do this, I push her. But I'm glad you say that, Raquel. When it comes to a mentor, I ask Raquel to be my mentor, because I call you because to me, some things that Raquel, she told me, I said, you know what? That's not good. We talk. I want you to be honest with me if something I'm off. I don't want you to say, hey, you don't, no. Correction. And okay, you're not where you're supposed to be. Come back here.
Right.
And we have to really talk to each other like that, because you care. When I told Raquel, I don't mind to be followed because I see something that I see myself, I will be leader. You know, 2 years ago when we met, some people, they don't want to do that because of the, I don't want to say ego. Sometimes like they might see me down, or if I ask, I need advice, or I don't know everything. That's what president has, vice president. You know, we all need somebody
That's right.
to like, don't, All I can say, like, please, if you think you don't know something, just say, I don't know. Really. Can you
If a
realize
person give you the advice, man, don't mean you'll take it, but give it to you.
Yeah.
You may ponder later on it.
I mean,
Right.
yes. Some people like it can be ego, it can be it's how I'm gonna be reviewed if I ask my witness. But if you need help, please go ask. That make you better. Okay.
Yes.
If you're preparing to do something you never done your life, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? Can you guide me? If it costs you to pay.
And a lot of times, you could be someone's mentor and not know it. There
Yeah.
could
That
be
guy
a
is
young,
asking.
there could be someone watching you and you don't know you're mentoring them.
Right.
They're
just
paying
watching
attention.
you.
They're just watching you.
They're just
paying
A
attention.
leader ain't a leader that may be vocal. You know, there's a lot of leadership behind the scenes.
Yep.
There's a lot of strong women that was behind the scene that did a lot of work. Just in using my two daughters, I got one that may be more vocal, but the other one, she does a lot of leadership also behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So everybody has it different. I just believe like what do we got to do to tap into that talent that's there, and to go back and teach or find out, and everybody research something. So
You would look. I mean, like, we all here to learn, regardless. Teacher, they were a student at one point, right?
that's right.
So we all here, like, this cycle just go around. And things that we don't know, I think it's smart to do resources. If we cannot do, say, hey, I cannot do, can you help me? And like when I cook, girl, I can cook 3 different, 4 meals at the same time. I'm good. That's just that come natural for me. And when it comes to technology, my daughter, like, I'm here and it's in front of me. I call Yasmin. I already done that. She just touch it. Let's do it.
So we have a response on Facebook. This one's coming out of Facebook. Says, as a leader, how do you empower yourself and the women around you?
That is really good.
That's a good question.
That's a very, very good question. What I believe, I teach a class called Real Colors. It's where you learn about the different colors that you are, how to deal with people, how to deal with people that one may be quite you got to tap into the strength. And so this is where, to me, it comes in for you to know who's on your team.
Yes.
So, and then you got to know if this person a morning person or evening person, because I might have to get this person to do the work. Then I believe in taking time to get to know who's on your team, and don't take it personally if they don't go along with what you say. I fought that battle a lot in the corporate world, because being in the community, I see stuff that you don't see behind the scenes because you're in the office running. But my job is to let you know, and whether we agree or disagree, I'm going to let you know. But I think that we should get to the point where where each person is coming from. And in Real Colors, it teaches you about the different colors and how to communicate with people based on their colors.
Yes.
Like, I'm a true blue. My husband, he may be orange in the colors skin, so I know how to. I talk to him at night when I need stuff to be talking to. I'm not one of these people first thing in the morning that I want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you first thing in the morning. When you get to know who's on your team, you can communicate better, and this team can work.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I learned.
And I think how I empower myself is I want to surround myself with like-minded individuals. I want people who want to go to the next level, people who want to do more for themselves. So I want to surround myself with individuals like that. I think, and when you do that, those who are watching you, who you don't know is watching, you're setting an example for them, that you're always trying to better yourself.
Yeah, for me, is the way I empower myself is, one, I want to better me. If I'm better me, I take myself wherever I go, right? If you're not yourself, you go to with others, it does not make sense to me. So I have to tell myself, Fatia, she have to be good for Fatia. wherever I go, Fatia goes. So I'm speaking to myself. So by better myself, by like, okay, if I need to do this, I have to do this. Like now, what is going on? I know this is something that I need to do, but it takes me time to do this. You know, even though I want to help, but Fatia she have to be okay.
Right.
You know, I have to be okay. If I'm not okay, I cannot help anybody.
Yeah.
So mentally, physically, emotionally, I have to be okay in order to help others. That's how I really, truly motivate myself. Like, okay, I'm like, everybody calling to send me this now, you speak, so you have to do something. Yes, I speak to make a difference. It takes me time. So I'm not going to throw myself and losing Fatia in the middle.
Yeah.
If I'm okay, I can bring back, I'm educating myself, I'm taking classes, I'm meeting, and all that. Fatia, she have to be okay in order to do that. So I can lead people the way they're supposed to go.
And I think that's a good point is a lot of times, you know, you run into people and you got to be ready to talk. You got to be ready to talk. And if I'm because I get those days where I just don't want to talk no more. I just want to chill. I don't go out.
Right.
I'll stay home, work on the computer or whatever, because I don't want to present myself negatively just because I'm in the mood that I'm probably in once every 6 months or so. So I think you always got to be ready. You always got to be on your A game whenever somebody comes up and poses a question or wants to talk to you.
A lot of times people need a little bit of hope. That's it. That's all they need is that hope, and they can go on. And so the days, like you said, whenever you're not, you get them, you kind of, retro back. But when you go out, you got to be willing to face the world, because everybody's looking for some hope.
They do. If you're not your best, like you said, you cannot respond so well. If you go to an event to show up and you're not you, and people, they're gonna say they don't know what is going on with you. Now they think like, what is going on with her? She have attitude. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, we have to be okay before we can make somebody okay. If you're not okay, you cannot motivate anyone. If you're not motivate yourself to do something.
That's right.
So definitely, I think it's important that you have to know yourself and be honest with yourself.
It's okay.
It's okay not to be okay.
It is okay.
It's life. Life is happening to me. This happened to you. That's it's happened to everybody.
Yeah.
It was time. After we did the show, Hot Summer, and because it really that hit me. For 3 days, I didn't open my door. I did. I said, you know what? It's okay. This is my process for me to get healed.
And that's okay.
And it's okay. And I said, I'm not going to open the door. I'm going to stay here. And I was doing what I was supposed to do. And I really turned everything off. And I said, Fatia, this is me, that I'm trying to do something for others also. But I have to.
You got to take care of yourself.
Take care of myself.
You always have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think as women, we tend to forget that portion of it. You know, we're responsible for taking care of the children. We're responsible for taking care of our husband. We're responsible or significant other. I mean, there's so much stuff that we're responsible for that a lot of times we forget to take care of ourselves.
And then we hold guilt to ourselves. You know, parenting or spouse, there's no manual. We do the best we can. We fall, we make errors. We're taught later. So you make that change. Don't hold it. Don't hold guilt. Give yourself, and let's move on. What can I do now?
Yes.
And we do that for each other. Come on, girl, we can make it. That's what we need to do. But before we go on, I want to tell you there was another lady that I looked at, was Native American, and I probably ain't pronounce her name. Lala Sa, a member of the Yankton Dakota Sioux.
Suwan?
Okay. She was not considered a U.S. citizen and was not qualified to vote. So she urged in 1921, even after the Indian Citizen Act, she lobbied for law in 1924, and it still didn't guarantee her the right to vote yet. So she got full voting rights out of her death in 1962.
Yep.
So sometimes we do stuff, it might not happen in our lifetime, but the fight is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
And you
So
know
that
what?
was decades out of her jail.
Yes. And what's significant about that is a lot of people don't realize Native Americans were not considered citizens of the United States.
And I claim you this your land, no.
Not considered. And I always mention that because we are the highest ethnic group to serve in the military. We were serving in the military since, the Revolutionary War, we were scouts, obviously we had the code talkers that made a huge difference.
Yes.
So we've served, but a lot of them were serving at a time where they weren't even considered citizens of the United States.
But it's
Good for her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's crazy. And I think about the powwow that's coming on in November. This is something that's powerful to me. People thought of it, but you did it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have to do. You have to think about it, but then you have to put it in plan and act it.
And act
get
on
it done.
Mm-hmm.
Get it done.
Yeah.
It's been given to you
Because you'll be history. You'll be history.
Yes.
For generations to come.
Yeah.
That this powwow started.
And it's setting an example. Once again, I'm about setting that example for my daughters, for my beautiful granddaughter. She's only 2 right now, but still she's going to know my grandma did this, and this.
Yes.
Guess what? I could do this, and this.
Yes.
And that's what we want. We want to inspire our young women to step up and take a chance on something they thought couldn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be the first. You could be the first one to do something.
Technology just made it even more successful for them to use. And because of technology, we started speaking in Ethiopia. Look at this.
Yes.
Because technology.
Mm-hmm.
Now that, it's still the system even is broken, but people are still talking. You know what I'm saying? So, yep.
So you find a way to do it, not to do it.
Yes.
And that's where we live. Sometimes we find all the excuses not to do something. We'll find that one to do it. And you did.
Yeah.
You did. You found that.
Yeah.
Found that one to do.
And pick individuals to help you make that attainable.
Yes.
You got to have the right people with you.
I'm telling you that. I'm glad you say that, Raquel. That is very important. And when you see people have the vision, God give you vision for a reason. Like you said, everything the idea we thought about, somebody's already thought about it. But not everybody take action to do. There are so many people that have this vision and idea that take it to grave, right? And we're not taking to grave. I'm not. I don't know how long it's going to take me. How long will that to life before I depart this earth?
Yeah.
You always told me you will leave this world empty.
And listen, since you have bury me as a Muslim, they just put the sheet on you. Whatever, how you gonna bury me?
Well, I'm gonna be here. You gonna have to get a casket. You know the sheet.
Well, if back home,
but that's a long time coming.
Long time coming. I hope to see the change in my home. I hope hope for my home is children to have safe place.
Oh yes,
really. Like you guys. Before we go, people, they can say, oh my God, I'm sorry for what happened to you, right? I'm sorry for the hurt. But that is not the choices you make to you all adult. And not the only hurt that happened to you, but things that you make every day, you carry. That's what some people, they will never comprehend it, because if you have never experienced, you will never know.
You will never know.
That's the reason I would really like to have for those children safe place.
Yes. They definitely need, all children need that safe place, that trusted adult, and obviously we're talking about women in leadership. We got a lot of women who can make stuff like that happen. So thank you guys for joining us today. Had some deep conversations going on, started off heavy in the beginning, but the candles are still burning for our young 7-year-old who lost her life. Diana, to you for closing.
This was amazing. So look, let's support women. Let's support people that's doing right. Support each other. Again, thank you for watching the show. Please like, share, follow, tell a friend. Also, we're looking for sponsorship. So if you're interested in sponsoring the show, let us know. because we are just absolutely grateful that you're just being there with us. We're on YouTube. We're on a lot of channels. So just kind of be on the lookout for us. Next time you'll see us be September the 11th. We all know that's a significant day. But the next one will be September 11th, and we will be talking about mentoring youth.
Yes,
Mentoring
that's very
youth.
important.
So come on back, because we want to be there, just like for women leadership, mentoring youth.
Yep.
We already talked a little bit about mentoring our youth. So come on. Come on back,
Children
and we'll
are
see you
the
then.
future.
Yeah.
Children are the future.
They're going to lead
And
us.
they're going to teach us how to lead the way.
That's right.
Yes.
We'll see you
But again,
guys
thank
next
you.
time.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.